All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Masters in Motion podcast. I'm Jason Grubb. I'm here with Rick Stevenson. We have a quick episode today, just going to kind of jam through a couple of things. It's late on a Friday, and Rick has been traveling. He's back. We are busy preparing for the games, doing a million things. Rick's taking kids to college, and there's a ton going on, but we're like, hey, you got 20 minutes? Let's do a call.
Let's do it.
So we've got a podcast for you today where we're going to talk about really all things Masters CrossFit Games. It is coming quickly. Next week, we'll have a special episode as well. We'll have a special guest. We'll share that next week, of course, and we'll be able to reflect a little bit on the CrossFit Games that happened last weekend, which also was super cool, wasn't it? I mean, it's great.
This episode is powered by Thirdsy, your go-to for game-changing sleep recovery. Imagine hitting your workouts harder and waking up feeling unstoppable. That's what Thirdsy's PM Recovery Collagen does for me. It's like pre-workout, but for your sleep, fueling your body's active recovery processes without any melatonin or sedatives. Just one scoop before bed supports deeper, more restorative sleep so you can crush your fitness goals. Ready to experience the best rest and recovery? Visit Thirdsy.com and transform your nights into recovery power hours. Thirdsy, because sleep is the ultimate recovery tool. That's THIRDZY.com. Save 20% with code JASONZZZ. Let's get into the show.
I didn't catch much of it till Sunday. And then Monday and Tuesday, I went back and watched like final heats of events that I missed. I was really entertained.
Very entertaining.
They managed to pull off a pretty good show. A little disappointing, and you know why they pushed the whole ticket sales thing, because for the premier event, you would expect to fill a smaller arena. And you could tell from the draping of the signage across, they took out the top level. And then even on the bottom level, at times, it was not very full. Yeah, it was sparse.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that down the road, because I think we could spend an entire episode on that.
But yep, we will.
We'll jump in today. Three major things that we'll touch on: the media team or coverage that is going to be at the Masters, or the age group. We'll call it the age group CrossFit Games, teenagers and Masters. We'll talk about the CrossFit Athlete Council meeting that I actually initiated, and we actually had that yesterday, which is very cool. And then we'll talk about these 3 workouts that were released. So we waited a little bit later today, and we have one more workout to share, which is actually one presented by Boulder Athlete. We'll talk about what that means. Question, I'll just let this out of the bag.
Please.
Because it's presented by Boulder Athlete, I don't know. It's just we are a sponsor at the games, and I texted Joe after the workout got released. I was like, "Oh, that's very cool." He's like, "Does that feel Boulder Athlete like?" I was like, "Yeah, that is a very Boulder Athlete type workout."
You had nothing to do with programming it. You haven't been practicing it yourself for the last 3 months. Let's just put that out there for everybody to hear.
No. Okay. Now, what's amazing is that we have been doing, and you know this, what's been released and what's on the list of the things that we're going to do at the games. Movement. We have been doing on a weekly basis in training. So being a student of what Bob and Joe have produced in competition in the past translates into training, translates into preparing us for what they might do in the future. I think we're very ready. But let's talk media coverage first. What do we got, Rick?
Well, we don't have all the names in front of me for the in-person commentators, the ones on the floor. A very recognizable. Bella Martin is the one that comes to mind. Mike Richards, I believe, too. You'll recognize him. Every voice you hear, you will recognize, whether from a past individual elite competition or some of the age group games in prior years. Interesting, though, they're pulling in, probably specifically for the teenagers, Ty Jenkins, who just finished his first games as an individual athlete, is on the floor announcing team for that was announced. So they even slapped him with a big rookie star on that. Now the live stream, it's an all-star cast, no doubt. It's who you think: Sean Woodland, Joel Gaudette, Chase Ingram, Tommy Marquez, and Bella Martin. Those are going to be very familiar names and voices for your listening if you're going to watch a live stream. And the details of the live stream, do you know more about?
I don't.
Yeah, I just know that we're going to hear some familiar voices.
And you and I were talking before we recorded about, like, last year the live stream was we have the best voices there. which is very cool. I mean, if you ever get to hear Sean Woodland say your name, it's
Yep.
a dream come true.
Yep.
He has
It's very
said
cool.
he said the name of Matt Frazier. He said Tia Claire Toomey. He said Rich Froning. He said, fittest man in history. He's said all of these things, and if he
Iconic
says your
calls.
name, oh my God, it's great. It's really something. So that's great. Last year we had a floor where we were actually facing each other for quite a few events. Like literally half of the field was on one side, half the field was on the other side. So it was actually harder to track where athletes were first place, second place, third place as the workouts progressed. They're not doing that this year. And I think that was a lesson learned last year, that from a live feed perspective and from a commentator's perspective, this was a huge load for them to try to know what's going on the left side of the field versus the right side of the field of play. So they're going to simplify that, which may make the live stream a little bit better. This is not a limitless budget as we would see in the indie games. So we're okay. Hey, it'd be awesome if we had that kind of coverage. But Rick, I think we're realists. We understand that, when you have 500 athletes plus athletes doing 4 days of competition, it's just an enormous and unreasonable task to try to have that level of.
Correct. Everybody has to right size their expectations.
Correct.
And
correct.
Bob did explain earlier on that the split floor was a little bit due to the layout of the convention center there in Birmingham, and Columbus is configured a little bit differently. Some wider distance between the supporting posts so that they're not forced to do that left side, right side. They could just go traditional 10, 15, whatever the number of lanes across, have a field of play like that.
It's cool. There was a part of me that liked looking across and seeing competitors as opposed to trying to look down the lane.
Yeah,
side to side. But it was very unconventional and, again, very hard to follow. I remember, on the final event, I was doing bar muscle ups facing my family and all the people around me, and they were all looking past me across the field of play because they're just trying to find out what the guys that I need to beat are doing. And again, it's just it made it a little bit disconnected, but they did what they did because they had to, and I'm glad Columbus is a different layout. And with that, we have had a couple of workouts, so 3 workouts announced so far. And before we get to them, I'll just share really quick about the CrossFit Athlete Council meeting that happened yesterday. I had actually had a thought when the first workout was announced. It was announced on the Legends channel on Instagram, and Pit Teen maybe was tagged in there as well. But CrossFit Games was silent. There was nothing from the CrossFit Games on that. So if you looked at the CrossFit Games feed, you would never know that there was an age group games happening, like a branded CrossFit Games
very
event.
Large competition within 3 weeks of the completion of their marquee weekend.
And I get hey, they're also in the afterglow of a huge weekend, a huge event. Sure. So they still have some media to share on that. I don't have a problem with that. But I do think that it would make sense to be seeding into the outbound media the fact that there's this giant event happening very soon. So that wasn't happening. And I wasn't going to say anything, not a big deal. But then I got multiple text messages from athletes saying that they were really confused. They see the Legends Classic workouts and they think that's the team. They see Legends workouts, or at least workouts on the Legends page. Are those for the CrossFit Games? Are they not? Why doesn't CrossFit announce these? And so I just copied and pasted one of the most well-articulated text messages that was inbound to me. I pasted that into an email and I sent that to the divisional athlete council members saying, hey guys, I'm getting this kind of feedback. What do you guys think? And I copied HQ in on that. It went around to every one of the athletes in our division, including the adaptive representatives. And they were all like, yeah, we're all getting this feedback. Okay. And what was kind of cool was that Becky Harsh over at CrossFit, she said, hey, we're all traveling this week. We want to do something as soon as we can to address this with you guys. And they actually made a meeting happen yesterday, which was within 48 of our contact.
Yeah, 3 days after their competition ended.
That was very cool. Bob Jennings was on the call as well. Multiple Dave Castro was on there. Multiple people from CrossFit and the divisional CAC. And so what happened on the first release was that because the because the sponsors are different between the CrossFit Games and the age group games, there was a little bit of a conflict between two sponsors that made it so that CrossFit itself could not share that post because of one of the
Ah,
sponsors that they work with. So they had a sponsor conflict, and it was unforeseen. They didn't anticipate that happening, but it's very last minute. And so that's why workout 25.2, which was the first workout released on
yep.
Monday, did
Heavy,
not
heavy
get
legacy. Okay.
heavy legs. It was not shared by CrossFit. I believe Wednesday, the second workout was shared and it was on CrossFit Story. Today, the third workout was shared and it was collaborative post. It was a collaborative post between Legends and CrossFit and two others as well. A Boulder athlete was one of them as well because we were the I don't know, the
Presenting
sponsor.
sponsor. Right.
Yeah, presenting sponsor. And again, that's part of us having a booth there at a prominent location. This goes with that package that we sponsor a workout, and that doesn't mean we have any influence on that
All you
workout.
conspiracy theorists, settle
Totally, it
down,
doesn't at all.
relax.
I mean, if we were to, we'll talk about that workout when we get there. But so, with all that said, another thing that I brought up on that council meeting was that the post itself is showing, 25.2 shows whoever the sponsors, Jim Reapers or whoever the sponsor was on that one. But there was nothing on there that said CrossFit Games. And Bob said, Jason, it's on there. And I was like, no, it's not. I'm like literally on a call with these guys. I pull up the post and I was like, oh, okay, so it's in camouflage. I mean, it's actually a design.
Well, that's not good.
It's
Yeah.
it's the way they've designed these posts. That I don't want to say it's a transparent logo. It's somewhat of a transparent logo on a rough background. And I don't think that this is some sort of hint that CrossFit is distancing itself from Legends and that this is a choice. This is an intentional, that they're making their logo less in our post. It
Okay.
is literally someone who is designing this post in Canva and was like, hey, I really like the way this looks. And it's just super hard to see the CrossFit logo on it. And so, I mean, I sent a message over to those guys yesterday after the call. I sent a message to Bob and Joe. I was like, hey, here's what the post looks like. Here's what it should look like. And the second version has, CrossFit Games age group 2025, like in its bright yellowish green, bold CrossFit word. Like this should be much more prominent, not bigger, but more prominent. That didn't happen by the release of this third workout. And I think the message got to cross but it was a collaborative post with the CrossFit Games. They also said that they have a communication plan and a strategy moving forward starting next week for the age group games. And
Okay.
so that's all good news. I mean, I think like we're never, as the athlete council, I'm never asking CrossFit to like, hey, do an about face and do what we want. We're just saying like, hey,
Right.
here's the feedback we're getting. We want to share this with you.
We think it's important that you hear it because if we don't bring it up to you, what's the point of the council? And then it just gets kicked around the interwebs.
And then they can give us feedback, like give us the story, what was going on behind the scenes, and then we can push that out via podcast, this kind of information. Like, so this is what's going on. This is why first one wasn't a collaborative post. It's not perfect, but business is business, and it is a business. So you just have to be like, okay, well, it is what it is. That was the extent of it. I mean, it wasn't a super big meeting. It was just, hey, why isn't this more? Why isn't there more? They said more is coming, and this is why it wasn't collaborative posts on Instagram before. You'll see it now in the future. So if someone follows the CrossFit Games Instagram page, they're going to see the age group workouts on them moving forward because there's no other conflicts.
It's truly for a broader audience too. It's not just
Exactly.
the athletes. It's
Exactly.
it's fans, it's gym members, it's friends and family that are traveling, it's sponsors. I mean, there are plenty of interested parties that look to social media for information, while some of them might not be doing the workouts or reading I mean, they have interest, and it's bigger than just a couple of people complaining. So I'm pointing things out. I just want
Totally.
to make that it's fans, interested fans.
It's fans. And I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean, we, as sponsors, we invest heavily into projects like this. And most broad audience reach. We want the broadest reach for an audience, so that's good too. And so that was actually, I mean, literally looking at it now, seeing that Boulder Athlete is on the CrossFit Games page. That's great. And this just they literally just kind of plug in their sponsors on different workouts. And so I did text Joe. I was like, hey, this looks great. He replied, he said, does it feel like the right workout to sponsor? And I was like, this was after the release, obviously.
Right,
And
right,
I
right.
said, bro, we do workouts like this every Tuesday. This is shoulder endurance. And Tuesday, first thing we do is shoulder endurance every Tuesday, literally to the point where I had athletes texting me throughout the day today saying, hey, are we going to test this one on Tuesday? And I was like, obviously, this is what we're doing on
absolutely.
Tuesday. Let's talk about the workouts, Rick.
Sure.
The first release was 25.2. What do we got?
Heavy legacy, max clean and jerk. Really, you have 4 attempts at a lift. So from 0 to 20 seconds, you're going to have lift 1. From 20 seconds to a minute 50. Good luck with all this timing. You're
It's
going to have a
90
reset.
seconds.
Yeah,
It's 90 seconds. Yeah.
90 seconds. It's just when you're writing it down, it looks like you're like,
No, it's
what
terrible
the
that
heck?
way. Yeah.
You're going to have 20 seconds for lift 2, another 90 seconds to reset, 20 seconds for lift 3. Then what I did see here, according to the numbers, you do get 30 seconds for your 4th lift. So you have four lifts and you'll be done in 6 minutes. And so that's a way to test some strength. Everybody likes to see the big weights thrown around for both the males and females. And you can run a lot of heats in a short amount of time due to it just being 6 minutes in
Very
total.
structured.
Yep.
Feelings.
It'll be a very popular event to watch.
That is very true.
Yeah.
I love your perspective.
It's not everybody's wheelhouse. Let's be honest. Okay.
Speaking of so on the podcast today, we have 2 guys that are like, max lift is not necessarily our favorite events.
Yes, right. But am I excited to do it? Absolutely.
Sure.
Do I feel that more comes out from me in an event with adrenaline and under the lights, feeling good, than I do at 6:30 in the morning? 100%. So I am excited to try this. I just have to understand where I fall in the pecking order of the athletes in my division. That's fine.
That's true. And I am doing the same thing. I'm 49 in a field of younger athletes and some real beefcakes in there. So it'll be an interesting one. I want to speculate for a second. We do know that the teams are not teams as in the Legends Classic team event, multiple athletes, is doing an offsite event that day. It seems, and that is their run, row, run workout. So if I was a betting man, I would put a big 75-80% chance that 25.1 for us on Thursday will be a run, row event, some form or fashion like that. It seems like they wouldn't invest all that time and energy just for the teams to do that. So I feel like we're probably going to do some sort of longer endurance piece.
Yep, exactly.
And then in the afternoon, we're going to do a max lift. And that is kind of exciting to me. I like that hopefully some of those big guys are going to get a little bit tired. And I say that, and if you're a big guy and you're listening, I know what you're thinking. And I agree. The big guys will not be phased. They will come out there and throw down heavy, heavy lifts, regardless of running however many miles. Doesn't matter. So,
not from my perspective, but from your perspective as a multi-time champ, you don't have to win every workout to win the title at the end.
Very true. Very true.
So that's.
But I will tell you,
I
will tell you that when there is a heavy lift as a second event, I do push that first event a little bit more.
Okay.
I got to shore up some points here.
Sure.
Anyway,
that's fair.
Move on to second one.
What do we have here? In the order they came out, it was called 25.6, I think. Yep. Steel Resolve was the name. I do like the fact that they're naming them. I just enjoy names. A 3-minute AMRAP of a 3 axle bar deadlift and an 80-foot sled push. We understand it'd be 40 feet down and 40 feet back. The weights for the deadlift are in the details listed on Competition Corner. I think 315 for the men on down based on the age group, and sled weight is to be determined. I don't think we know that yet. I would imagine it will not be a super heavy sled, if they want an AMRAP fashion to occur and a fun race to happen, you rip the bar 3 times and you're pushing the sled in a semi-sprint, if not that. And so you can have multiple rounds. I don't think they want you 3 deadlifts and then march along and maybe get 80 feet of total push. I don't think that's their intent.
I think you're absolutely right, Rick. I think it's a 3-minute AMRAP of sled pushing. It is interrupted every 80 feet with a deadlift on an axle bar, which is a little weird.
A little different.
But it's not crazy heavy. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So, with the weight to be determined, people scrambling for fat grips or axle bars in the next week or two.
Yeah. Have you done axle bar deadlifts? Do you have axle bar at your gym?
We have an axle bar. We have a shorter axle bar, and I just played around with it again this morning, not deadlifting, but what we've all tried to do is clean. Remember, they had a clean with the axle bar back in maybe 2016 at the games, and that got very with sweaty hands and sweaty rack positions. It got a little dangerous with arms sliding all over the place. But I think the deadlift portion, if you are going to mix grip that, perhaps could be a little bit better. I'm
totally
going to practice a little more.
I've played with the short bar on the funny thing about the axle bar is it just feels really stiff, right? It is it's
stiff
immovable.
And
Stiff and hollow. It doesn't spin. It's got a different feel to it for sure. But it's not super heavy. And I agree. Unless they want us to do like 6 deadlifts or 9 deadlifts altogether, the sled has to be light. Otherwise, if this is a EMOM style 3-minute AMRAP and the scores are like 3 rounds, I mean, that sounds fairly boring and it feels like the deadlift is meaningless. But if you take this and make this a fast event, now you're like down and back and maybe getting 5 or 6 rounds of something like this. Now you've got athletes puking in the trash can. Like that's, I mean, not really, but that's gross, gross. And that sounds more like a test.
Remember, they had a very fast event last year too. That first event was a 3-minute cap, maybe. I don't even remember, but
if that,
there were some crazy fast times, and it was a sprint. So I think they do like employing that type. You're starting to see some patterns emerge year over year now.
Speaking of patterns, the next workout is 25.5. Is that right, Rick?
Yeah, I think 25.5.
25.5. And this workout is interesting in the sense that we have 4 rounds, 2 minutes of work, 1 minute of rest over these 4 rounds. We'll go with the men 35 and below. That there's appropriate adjustments for various age groups. But men are 18, 17, 16, 15. Women are 15, 14, 13, 12. That is the buy-in of handstand push-ups plus calories on the Echo bike. And with the remaining time, it's max double unders. And the race is to 300 double unders. You are done at 300. So it'll look like this. 3, 2, 1, go. 18 handstand push-ups, 18 cal Echo bike, max double unders until the 2-minute mark. Rest a minute. And do that again, 17, 17. And then 16, 16 double unders. So this is definitely one of those workouts, Rick, where the handstand push-ups we've checked, it's just standard handstand push-ups. It's not wall facing, it's not strict, it's just handstand push-ups. Echo bike is no jokes about that. It is what it is. And this is one of those workouts where it just feels so trappy. Like you could annihilate yourself in round 1 and actually really struggle round 2, 3, and 4. There's a very interesting combination here where you just, I think, have to be really smart. You have to know yourself. And this is also one that is very short it's an interval style workout. So it's short, recover, short, recover, short, recover, requires significant execution perfection and a lot of grit, man. When you're dying and just hanging on to double unders, that's really brutal.
Couldn't agree more. Everybody will probably surprise themselves out there. I think 300, when I saw this, 300 was a number I was like, I'm never getting to 300. I think you will. I would be shocked if a lot of participants, both men and women, didn't get to it. I just think that's going to be a number that's attainable. It looks very similar to what they had last year, interval style. Only difference is those numbers the buy-ins last year were the same for each of the 3 rounds. The rounds got shorter in time. I had to look that up. The first round was 4 minutes, then 3, then 2. So you're working with a compressed time window. Here you have the same, albeit shorter time window across all 4 rounds, but you're asked to do less work each round, which it's an interesting way to structure it. I tend to, well, we'll see if we like it or not.
Yeah, I know. And Rick, we'll be testing it Tuesday for sure.
Okay.
It's in our programming, and we'll have all athletes do it because it's kind of fun. And it'll just be interesting to see how much time it takes to get through the handstand push-ups and echo bike, particularly on round 2 and 3. Like round 1, we're fresh, kind of excited, and I think it's going to be a good round. I think we'll actually get through the handstand push-ups and echo bike the fastest in round 1, even though it has the most reps.
Right.
I think
yes.
the next round at 17 and 17, or whatever it is relative to your age group and gender, it's gonna start to slow down. But I do love that there's a minute recovery in there, and this is going to be a test to your fitness. If your body is able to recover well to nearly as close to 100% as possible in a minute, you're going to be good to go. No
And
problem.
many programmers for many years now have been doing interval style work with very little rest. How well can
Yep.
you recover in just 90 minutes, maybe 1 minute or maybe 90 seconds? So it's not going to be a surprise. Also, one thing to think about is how will the floor layout be? Where will the bike be in relation to the handstand wall? Athletes that are out there going to maybe test or play around with this, probably not a good idea to set the bike up 3 feet from the wall because that's, I would say, not realistic. Very rarely
True.
are you that close.
And when you jam, this is really a shoulder endurance workout, I think, and cardio. I mean, very cardio. It's like that's the combination. But you've got shoulders on the handstand push-ups, shoulders on the bike, shoulders on the double unders. It's really a relenting shoulder movement and increasing heart rate for 2 minutes. And I remember last year when we got off the Echo bike, even to run to the finish line, legs stopped working. There was a lot more calories there.
Right.
But if we even take a look at 18, 17, 16, so even through 3 rounds, you're at 51 calories on the Echo bike for guys. And these are short, fast bursts. This is not an insignificant amount of time in either handstand push-ups or echo bike. Let alone anytime you're not doing those things, you're just doing double unders with ferocity.
Which for
Here we
me
go.
gets my heart rate jacked big time.
So
I
much.
still haven't
That's
figured out how to breathe easily on on double unders, but that's for
not,
another life. I can
especially
tell
not
you
here.
though, I did see today. I would hope he was a friend of the show. He's not been on or anything like that yet. But Brent Fikowski had a great post, dusted off his old sheets, and gave the what wattage and RPMs you need to hold for each of the calories, and it was page after page after data. So
Oh my
on
gosh.
Instagram, go look at Brent's latest post, and the whole community can thank him for it. It was interesting. I was like, oh, that's 53 seconds if I hold it there. Uh-oh. And then you're like,
Yeah.
I only have 2 minutes, so
Yep.
it's going to
It
be
is
tough.
interesting. It is curious. And I think that's something that is nice to know when you just know on any kind of a machine, like what the breakdown is for time and calories and cadence and reps and all that kind of stuff. This is all that's very professor-like
Oh,
information right there.
absolutely.
All
100%.
professor-like
And
stuff.
he
So,
did it within hours.
and I would just think like how interesting that is with the handstand push-up buy-in. And again, these handstand push-ups, every once in a while you look at a workout, you think stuff like, gosh, I wish the handstand push-ups were harder. I really wish they were wall-facing or some sort of more challenging obstacle.
Right.
And then I remember that like these workouts have been tested. This isn't the first time these guys have written workouts. And I imagine that the second round of handstand push-ups is not going to be as easy as I think it is going to be. You know what I mean? Like round 1,
I think it's
18, no one's coming off the wall. Round 2,
for
they could have
17.
happened in round 1 to mess up round 2.
Right. Sure.
Yep.
It's going to be
We've seen
fast
it.
and furious also. Even though this one will take, what is that, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11 minutes.
12 minutes. Yeah,
12
11.
minutes. Yeah, I mean, it is a significant more amount of work than the first one we talked about, or the second one we talked about, Steel Resolve, just
Rick,
3 minutes.
For a guy like you, you could lay down the hammer in round 1 and just get all those double unders done. Didn't you say you could do 300 in about 90 seconds? I think that would be pretty sick. Or did I let the cat out of the bag? I won't tell your competitors. Don't let
Just
anyone
so
know.
glad it's not a heavy drag rope or a heavy rope or a drag rope. Thank goodness.
Me too.
Yes.
Me too.
I'm excited about one.
We've done those. We've seen those at Legends. And so in training, we tinker with other ropes, crossovers, all that kind of stuff. At the Wadapalooza, we always see those fancy ropes. But I agree with you, Rick. I don't love competing with those. I love training. There's a training purpose for them. But when it comes down to simple CrossFit, I love a simple test of CrossFit without trying to get overly fancy with heavy ropes. They're really hard. So I just to be completely honest, my bias is based on the fact that they're really hard and really unpleasant. And a speed rope becomes very unpleasant, but not like because I'm dying on this. It's just because it's 300 is the
and
sticker on this one.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
So bring a secondary rope, everybody, just in case you haven't.
Yeah, do that. We had you saw what Colton Mertens happened to him at.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
I saw the highlight.
Like second crossover, boom, rope is gone.
What did he do? Turn around, ran back, grabbed one, ran right back.
Yep.
Now, did that cost him? It did, but it didn't cost him entirely, though. I mean, he wasn't. Yeah.
I checked my jump rope bag. I have from RX Smart Gear, I have a bag. And I have a backup rope in there. I'd hate to use it because I never practice with it. And the rope I have, I mean, there's never in a million years is this standard speed rope going to snap. But we're not gambling. We're not gamblers out there. We're taking a backup rope.
I'm going to take the little tool and tighten up both ends. I don't need a handle flying off the wrong time either.
No, I mean, not unless it's intentional and you're trying to take out one of your competitors. Like swipe the leg.
Look left, look right.
All right, my friend. Great to see you. Now likewise. Go get on with your life.
I will. And I'll tell you what, Jason, we're going to have a lot more to talk about in the days and weeks ahead. So looking forward to it.
See you next time.
Have a great night.
Thanks for tuning in to the Masters in Motion podcast. We'd be so grateful if you could take a moment to leave us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or your preferred podcast app. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us reach more listeners and grow our Masters community. Until next time, get bolder, not older.